I need to get ready to go to bed. So here's what we're gonna do. It is Thursday. I'm going to let you all know that I'm going to try to make up all the stuff to you on Friday. Technically, it's still Wednesday night, and yes, that was a wedgie, but it is 12:25 a.m. So that makes it Thursday morning. And I was planning on doing stuff. Shout out to Theo Butler because I left him a very long, super long, etc. Comment in his box. Now, and Mr. Butler, if you see this, I apologize profusely for that. But we got talking about X-Men and diversity and stuff like that because of the new Eternals and other Marvel movies coming out, and I just got into my feelings on that, so I just kind of went ballistic and started typing about shit. So again, I apologize for that. I also did a video about Black Panther, and I drew you a picture so that you can see it. If you can find it, good luck. But anyway, to everyone else here, it's been a lot of back and forth with me on my TikTok about voting in Virginia. All right, and I coined the term Repulicrats. All right, and that basically means Republicans disguised as Democrats, and this is how they voted the guy that I didn't vote for in. Now, in my video on TikTok, I made two of them. I made four of them about the Repulicrats. However, in the videos, I specifically said, I am going to let this shit go. I am not going to bitch about losing the election to Glenn Youngkin or whatever. I made my point. I said what I said. I did vote for the motherfucker, and apparently a lot of Repulicrats did. Now, in case you didn't get that, let me re-explain to you what a Repulicrat is. A Republicat is a Republican disguised as a Democrat. And then they vote for Republicans so that they can continue to proceed the agenda that Trump had put on, about getting rid of Roe versus Wade. Alright? So it looks like Virginia might become Texas. Alright? Simple as that. And in my TikTok, I specifically said, I'm not going to argue with anybody about this. I'm going to let this go. However, by telling everybody that I'm not going to argue with them about this, I'm going to let this shit go. I'm going to take my ball and go home. I'm not going to be bitching and complaining about Youngkin winning the fucking election. Alright? I said what I said, and I was well prepared to let that shit go. However, just like my abortion for women's choice versus abortion for birth control video, some asshole had a raw hair up their ass and decided, hey, we're going to go and force James to have his opinion, which is what I did. Now, one of my videos, TikTok blocked, but the guy called me a dummy, so that's kind of what set me off on this. It's like, you don't even fucking know me, dude. Don't call me no fucking dummy, alright? And if you're not in Virginia, that shit don't even affect you, alright? It really don't. Everything that I said only affects the people in Virginia. And somehow or another, everyone who's not in Virginia decided to start coming at me. And I'm like, dude, I said I was going to let this shit go. Now, the first guy calls me a dummy. Then the second guy's coming in, and he's talking about how the Democrats didn't like it when Hillary lost and was claiming that the shit cheated. They cheated. Okay, well, I got no proof of that. But what I do have proof is that the majority of us shut the fuck up and lived under Trump for 4 years and said nothing. We did exactly what we were supposed to do. We took our ball, we went home, and we didn't cry or complain. And there was maybe a few. There was a minority versus the majority. But if you're watching Douchebag Full of Dick Tips, we didn't storm the White House. We didn't threaten our vice president, Mike Pence, who is a Trump supporter. Trump's supporters did that shit. Alright? And I probably should have said that in my video. I probably should have. But I didn't. But I'm saying it now. I'm not taking it back. Because here's that thing. This is my Army National Guard flag. Fucking Frisbee. I got this 11 years ago when I was discharged from the Army National Guard. This is not something you can just go buy in a store. You might be able to buy it now because it's like 11 years ago. So, and I can't get my benefits until I'm 60, so there goes that dream. So, here's the thing on that. You ain't catch no Democrats storming the castle when Hillary lost. You ain't catch no Democrats storming Richmond when Terry McAuliffe lost. Right? You didn't see any Democrats doing that. And if you're not in Charlottesville or Virginia in itself, you got no dog in the fight. All right? But let me clarify. Let me clarify. This is why this is important to me. It's not important to you, and that's fine. It's not important to you. All right? 1. If you take away a woman's right to choose, what happens when that woman's right to choose is a woman related to you? All right? What happens then? Oh, now you want to put Roe v. Wade back on the blocks when it's your daughter, your niece, your sister, your mother, your aunt, your cousin that's forcibly impregnated or raped. I can't say those words on TikTok because TikTok will ban me for less because they have before. But I can say them here on YouTube because Echo Fan Grey Wolf runs the show here. Okay? Now, if someone decides, hey, let's say I'm your daughter. I got little bitty boobs. I'm about 11 years old. I'm just starting to develop. I'm just starting my menstrual cycle. And all of a sudden, the following things happen because I learned this in my domestic violence class or domestic intimate partner violence class a few years back. Most rape victims are the victims of sexual assault by people they know. And sexual assault isn't always penetration. So I'm your little girl and I love my Uncle John. My Uncle John decides, hey, come here, little Susie. Let me put my hands down here on you. Oh, I just broke her flap of skin that most women lose when they are married and they are virgins or when the first time they have sex. The hymen. I just broke your daughter's hymen. Now she's 12 years old. She's never had a dick before in her life, and she's bleeding all over the fucking place because her crazy Uncle John did it. Let's go another step. I'm her nasty grandfather who's a pervert, and I've not only molested your daughter, but now I'm molesting your sisters and all of them in secret. And you don't know any of this shit because you're my son and nobody's telling you because I'm not into boys. But I'm into little girls. So now you have a daughter and I'm your psychopathic grandfather or your psychopathic father and I'm popping your kids' cherries. Why am I doing that? Because no one's going to say anything, right? Of course they're not. We don't believe the grandfather would do that because in the 20% of what you know of a person, you know absolutely fucking nothing. But people are coming at me on TikTok for me saying that I'm going to let this shit go and not even bring the fucking election back to fuck up, which I wasn't going to do. But, there's always one. There's always one douchebag dumpster fire that just has to get their point across instead of just conceding and letting shit go. Okay? So let's go again. Not only am I your 10-year-old girl and I'm just starting to develop my little boobs and everything, I'm not even remotely interested in boys because I'm playing video games and TikTok. But you got a best friend. Your best friend comes over every day, and if you blink or go to the bathroom, your best friend is all over his foster niece, me, and putting his hands in places that he's not supposed to have. And though Mom and I had the uncomfortable talk, he's still doing that shit. I'm too scared to tell Mom and Dad because he's told me in my ear that he's going to kill y'all if I tell him. I get to a certain age and next thing you know, I'm the victim of child porn. Because women don't have the right to choose. And now let's say a couple of years later, I'm the same kid. It's your best friend. He's been diddling me and then finally penetrating me when I turned 12 years old because he thought that my little body was big enough to handle his massive cock. And the next damn thing you know, my 12-year-old ass is pregnant. But I can't have this baby because I'm 12 years old. But because the states, the government, and everyone on the planet says that Roe v. Wade is a bad idea and this little 12-year-old who was raped by her daddy's best friend needs to have that fucking baby. And y'all think I'm the fucking sick one for believing that a woman's right to choose what goes in and out of her body is the right motherfucking thing to do. But I'm the sick fucker. When studies have shown throughout history, most of our young ladies and some of our young boys who have been sexually assaulted or molested have been molested or sexually assaulted by people that they fucking know. And yet y'all don't want women to have the vote to protect themselves if they are raped or molested by their crazy uncle or the insane alcoholic that lives down the street that everybody pays attention to him because he's rolling his little shopping cart that he stole from the store up the street and just wouldn't turn it back, but he has all this little garbage and stuff in there. And one day your little girl's walking home from school. Guess where your ass is at? You're at work. She's out of the range of your Ring camera that's on your door. All your other neighbors don't have Ring cameras. You're the only one that was smart enough to get one. But you can't protect your child 24 hours a day. No, you cannot. And all of a sudden, your daughter doesn't come home for a few hours. She's not dead, but she's no longer your little daughter because she's the victim of a sexual assault by the crazy bum down the street, your crazy uncle, your crazy grandfather, your crazy nephew, your crazy some goddamn body who decided to impregnate your daughter, but yet y'all all still think that Roe versus Wade should be taken off the books. But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to predict it. You heard it here on Kung Fu Havoc number 2 first. They're going to successfully overturn Roe v. Wade. They're going to successfully ban abortion in the 50 states of America, right up until some crazy son of a bitch rapes one of those fucking politicians' daughters. And then everybody's going to flip that coin. They're like, hey, my daughter got raped last week. That was 6 weeks ago. We secretly got her an abortion. You know, my daughter got raped last week. No, my daughter got raped last week. My daughter got raped last week. Y'all know we really need to put Roe v. Wade back on the table. Let's flip that coin. You're going to have one jackass whose daughter did not get raped, who may even be a woman herself, who's going to decide that Roe v. Wade needs to stay off the books. But you're going to have 5, 6 men who finally knows what it's like to know someone who's been raped or molested say, no, we need to put this shit back on because the male politicians and the female politicians that don't have these things because they have bodyguards and people who can protect them 24 hours a fucking day don't give a damn about you or me, my nieces, kids, none of that shit. But yet, you want to come at me on TikTok for saying I'm going to let this shit go. You're going to come at me on TikTok because I'm not going to bitch and complain about Gin Lunkin. I voted. I didn't vote for the motherfucker, so I have the right to complain. I don't live in Texas. I have family in Texas. I have friends in Texas. I worry about their safety now because after 6 weeks, abortions are illegal. Most women don't find out they're pregnant until the 6th or 7th week of pregnancy because some women have this thing called spotting. For us men who don't know what that is, or men who, unlike me, have 5 sisters and haven't really been raised about PMS and the time of the month and when you should probably leave the house and not come back for a few hours just to not be on the radar. Spotting is when women are pregnant and they spot their underwear, and some women don't know that it's not their period. Some women may actually think that it is their period, but they actually could be pregnant and still be on their period, and spotting falls into that category. But I'm pretty sure most of the dumb men watching don't know that because you don't have sisters, but you love getting that ass of maybe one of my sisters, or maybe somebody else who's watching sister. Because we all love vagina sandwiches. I do. But I also love the woman attached to that vagina sandwich. And her right to choose me is an honor versus me being the asshole down the street that body slams your child, forcefully impregnates her because she said no. No. Let me explain something about the word no. Not K-N-O-W, but the words N-O. As an actor, I've heard the word no well over 21 years. No. And it has nothing to do with sex. Just, no, James, you're a good-looking man, but you're not what we're looking for. As an actor, no. Rejection is part of this shit. For 21 years, I've heard the word no when it comes to my acting. With sex, I've heard no maybe once or twice, maybe 3 or 4 times, and I've never, ever really tried to coerce a woman into having sex. Once she says no, it's time to go. We can still hang out, but here's my rules after you told me no. If I've asked you for sex and you've made it clear that we are not having sex, we can sit side by side. There's no hand holding and there's no cuddling. We can carry on a conversation. We ain't got to do all that because I'm already disappointed that we're not having sex. Now, women probably don't get how that feels because they control the sex. In a relationship, a woman controls the sex. It's never the man's decision. Not really. Because you will rarely find a man that says no to sex. as you would find many of women who would rather say no to sex than yes to sex. So if a woman says no, you're done. Y'all can still be in a relationship. You just can't make her have sex when you choose to have sex. It's her fucking body receiving your body. It's not the other way around. Not really. I mean, if a woman wants to give you sex, yeah, I'm pretty sure most men are going to take it. Unless they're in a serious relationship with someone else. And unless they're cheaters. However, if, you know, the woman is not consenting to sex, then you need to take a knee, take a breath, and you can still be there. But you need to lay down some ground rules, because she's laid down the number one ground rule right there. She said we're not having sex. Okay? You don't have to leave. You don't have to make her feel bad because she's not giving you sex. Y'all can still hang out. Y'all can play video games. Y'all can talk. Y'all can watch TV. You can do anything but sex, because she said there's not going to be any sex. She may have given you the reasons like, I'm not ready for sex. I don't want to have sex. Which is pretty simple. I'm not ready for sex. I don't want to have sex. Or maybe I want to have sex, I just don't want to have sex with you. And I've had those conversations too. So what do? You can be a dick, cuss her out, walk off, never speak to her again. That works too. It's not probably the best way to do it, but you can do that. But you can also be a respectful gentleman and respect her wishes to not have sex with you, and then just accept it and just move on. And then find out, am I in the friend zone? Am I in the friends with benefit zone? Or am I just nothing to you but a way for you to kill time, which means you're going to waste my time. And I'm not here to have my time wasted. If I'm going to be in a relationship, I have one rule and one rule only. The first rule is you always be honest. The second rule is remember number one. The third rule is, if you don't know what you want, you need to tell me so that I don't put my life into your life only to not get the same thing. Because if you don't want what I want, then we're both fucking ourselves. And I don't mean in a masturbating way. Now, this video may be offensive to a lot of people. It's definitely not for children. But it is right. Now, like I said, I had no intention of going after anybody on TikTok about Trump or any of the other shit. I try to keep all that bullshit right here. I try to keep all political affiliations, race cards, and shit off of my TikTok. Unless it involves native stuff or racial discussions about how people are running around with Indian costumes on, and how for the second or third time this month or this year, a teacher has went after an indigenous child. That's on my TikTok. We won't have that here right now. Maybe we'll save it for another day. But the point being made is that, you have to let the woman control the relationship when it comes to the sex part. If she wants sex, she's going to find a way to get it from you, or she's going to get it from somebody else. It's the same thing with a man, only it's worse when it's a man, because if your girlfriend doesn't want to give it up, then y'all need to have a talk about y'all sex life before y'all even become boyfriend and girlfriend. You need to let her know, look, sex is very important to me. If you're not down with a lot of sex, I might not be the man for you. And I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste mine. Be honest. Women like honesty some of the times. I like honesty all the time. And like I tell people, if we're going to be in a relationship, number one rule is honesty. My number two rule is, remember rule number one, to be honest. Don't lie to me. If you're going to cheat on me, be a woman and tell me about this shit. Because I don't believe in cheating. Straight up and down. I don't. Now, if we're going to be swingers, and we have that agreement, okay, I'm really not down with that shit, but, if that's where life takes us, so be it. I would prefer to just be in a one-on-one relationship, me and a woman, that's it. No cheating, no bullshit. Now, let me lay that down, because looking at another woman is going to happen, just like she's going to look at another man. I can't get mad at that, because she's a human being. She can't get mad at that, because I'm a human being. But I'm not the jealous type. I might get a little antsy, I might get a little agitated, but I'm not the jealous type. I'm not going to run up to her while she's having a conversation, grab her by the wrist, and drag her away from the guy, unless she gives me the signal to do so. But for the most part, men and women can talk and be friends, and 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be the man that's probably going to try to engage her into cheating and shit like that. I said 9 times out of 10. There are women that do the exact same thing. There are no innocent people in this, and somehow or another, we all tend to attract the people like that instead of attracting the people who are like us that are fully faithful, fully loyal, and down for the long haul. Because I'm down for the long haul. My ex-fiance was not. That's why those rings are over there. Anyway, that being said, there are a lot of things on TikTok that you don't have to argue about it with anybody. Yeah, it's like, yo, we ain't got to talk about this shit. Especially if you're not living in my state. See, if you're living in Virginia, all right, you got a dog in the fight. Your guy won the damn election. I got nothing but complaints. But what is complaining going to do? It's not going to change the fact that your guy won the election, right? I'm not going to sit here and bitch about a recount, none of that shit. Hey, fuck it. I voted. My team lost. I'm done. Now, I don't know why it's not that simple for the jackasses on TikTok, the one that called me a dummy, and then the one that's like, oh, well, y'all were bitching and complaining about Hillary losing the election. Y'all were crying for recount. Hold on, motherfucker. You don't know me. You don't know me. See, when I went to sleep, Hillary was way in charge. When I woke up, Donald Trump was the president. And this is exactly what I did. Fuck. Damn. Shit. I cried a little bit. Then I got over that shit. Right up until he started doing this shit. Hi. We have someone in the White House who's been here just as long as you. We call her Pocahontas. Oh, let's not talk about the Kung Flu. Let's not apologize to the Central Park Five, which is 5 young black men who allegedly raped a white girl, and Donald Trump, when he was about my age, decided, hey, let's reactivate the death penalty and kill these 5 young black men. Even though later DNA would clarify them and he would not apologize. And then my favorite of all time, why don't you ask China? What about the Kung Flu? What about the Wuhan disease? And everyone following him doesn't seem to think that that's racist. And yet you want to know why I'm complaining about this. And the fact that Billy Bush doesn't have a job. But it was okay for Donald Trump to say in the van. Billy didn't say it. Donald said it. I'm rich and powerful. And if you're rich and powerful enough, you can grab women by the vagina and they will let you. No, dude. I don't give a fuck if you're rich and powerful or not. If a woman does not consent to you touching her body at all, then I don't think that you should be doing that. I damn sure wouldn't want you doing that to my daughters, if I had any. I wouldn't want you doing that to my sisters. I wouldn't want you doing that to my nieces. Dude, their body is not your pleasure zone. Not without consent. My nieces' kids and sisters are not Stormy and fucking Daniels, At least she got paid. And got more paid. But no disrespect to Stormy Daniels. She's a very beautiful woman. But, you slept with a troll, dude. But, bottom line that shit. The woman's right to choose is just that. You got all these people that follow Trump. So, if you're a Trump supporter, I'm not telling you you have to stay here. I'm not saying get the fuck out. I'm not doing that. I just want to know why you follow them. Alright? So, here's my assumptions. And you guys are going to come at me, and that's good. I'm not going to clap back. I'm just going to read your opinions, and I'm going to take them with a grain of salt. I don't go back and assault people unless it's a necessary assault. Like my TikTok, that shit was necessary. Because I said on the TikTok that I was going to let it go. Meanwhile, back to the topic. If you are a Donald Trump follower, it better be because of his promise to fatten your wallet. If it is because of his racist rhetoric and him making it cool to be an out in the open racist, then you have no place here. Because this ain't the channel for that. My TikTok and my Instagram is not the channel for that. I can support you if you're a Trump supporter, if you're honest. Hell, I can support you if you're an honest racist. I had an honest racist friend. He was the daddy of my friend, and he was straight honest about that shit. So he pretty much told me, if you didn't have any black in you, we wouldn't have a problem. I can't help that. I didn't ask to be part black, part Cherokee, and part white. That was the creator's decision. I didn't get a say in that. Believe me, if I had it my way, I'd just be Cherokee. But I'm not. I'm also part black and part white. And I have suffered from racism from all 3 of the ethnicities in which my blood comes from. So I can honestly tell you that there are racist blacks, natives, and whites. So if you're following him, you're either following him because you are poor and he promised your wallets that, or you are racist, or you just don't know up from down and your moral compass is spinning all around and you don't know which way to go. But some of the shit he said is cool. Some of the things he done helped your wallet. Some of the things he said ain't cool. Anytime you can throw somebody under the bus because of their race, you have a problem. I am racist to racist. That makes me no better than Trump. But here's the difference maker. I own that shit. Pure and simple. I don't hate Trump supporters. I hate the thought of people being openly racist. But I'm glad you have outed yourselves. I really am. But let me ask y'all this. Because, my governor didn't make it. I voted for Terry McAuliffe because he wanted to help poorer people. He even had Obama and Biden on his side. Which really doesn't matter because honestly, all politicians lie to get your vote. And then they fight each other to prevent doing what they promised us to do. And everybody in America, we're all so fucking stupid that we don't catch that shit. I catch it. I'm 48 years old. I caught it since Bill Clinton. Because I voted for Bill Clinton because I am just that old. Let's see, I think I was like 18 or 19 when he first got in office. I'm pretty sure I voted for him twice, and I voted for Al Gore, and I lost. But when Al Gore lost the election to Bush, I didn't go around hollering and screaming that the tree hugger lost the goddamn election and started crying and starting to punch fucking Republicans. I didn't do that. Hell, the Republicans didn't do that. But what in the bloody fuck hell makes Trump so special when he came out saying racist shit, kicked Omarosa out of the White House because she's black? She even admitted to that, but I'm pretty sure you guys probably chalked that up to she's a lying bitch. I'm sorry, Omarosa, I know you're not a bitch, but, I'm just metaphorically speaking. Let's see, there's a lot of people who are Proud Boys and Black Lives Matter who supported Trump. There are a lot of Asians who supported Trump, and I specifically made videos. Even a native or two has supported Trump. And I sit there and I made this video, and I'll say it like I said it there. If you are black, Asian, or native, and you are supporting Trump, you are stabbing your own people in the back, especially if you're Asian. And let me explain that, because I'm probably going to piss everybody off now, and I'm okay with that. You can come at me because it'll make my channel grow if you come at me, so I can make another video about y'all coming at me. The reason why I said that, if you were Asian, and he specifically was targeting Chinese, but let me break it down for you. Not everyone who is Asian is Chinese. But ask yourself, do those black racists know that are attacking Chinese people? Do those white racists know that who are attacking Chinese people? Only to find out later that they were not Chinese, that they were more than likely Filipino or Native Hawaiian or even Samoan? Do you think those racist motherfuckers know the difference between Asian races and Asian ethnicities? Fuck no. But you Trump's followers who are Asian follow this guy who says, blame it on China. Why don't you ask China? But the Chinese Americans who've never been to China are the ones that's suffering from that shit. Oh, well, that person looks Chinese. Let's chase that old lady with the Lysol. Let's set this lady on fire because she's Chinese. Lady's not even Chinese. She's Japanese. Her last name is Tanaka. But you don't know that because you don't know the difference between a Tanaka or a Cho or a Ho or a Chin. Let me do that one more time. A Tanaka, Japanese. A Cho, Korean. A Chin, Chinese. Now, here's where I fuck you up. A Cho and a Chin are interchangeable with Korea and China. Okay? Occupied territories, people, come on. Some Japanese people who took over China made some Japanese last names for Chinese people because of the occupation in the 40s. The shit that led to World War II. But if you're Asian and you're supporting Trump, got your head screwed on backwards because he doesn't like Chinese. But you forget he's not accountable for all of the racist blacks and whites who don't know the difference. They will attack you sure as soon as they look at you and assume that you are Chinese. Or did you guys forget about the Filipino dude who got cut across his face because they thought he was Chinese? Most recently on my TikTok, something came across my FYP of a lady getting sucker punched in the mouth because she was Chinese. And 3 black people actually helped her. You see where I'm going here? But you guys are following Trump. Now, he hasn't said anything racist about white people. And please, if you're white, don't take that shit the wrong way, because it's the truth. He hasn't said anything racist about white people. His only flaw with black people was the Central Park 7, which he still wasn't man enough to apologize. But he dug in his heels when it came to Asian issues. He dug in his heels when he started calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. He even gave an extra dig when he gave those medals of honor to those Navajo windtalkers. When he sat there and one of the windtalkers almost broke. And he said, we have someone who's lived in the White House just as long as you guys have been in the military. Her name is Pocahontas. But y'all probably don't see that as racist. But it's racist. You know why you don't see it as racist? It's because you're not part of the race. And then I got like Filipinos jumping around. Trump 2020. I have nothing against Filipinos. But let's not forget at the heart of this, Filipinos, you are Asian. Pacific Islanders are Asian. And what's going to happen when some racist black person or some racist white person assumes that you're Chinese? Because there are some light-skinned Filipinos. Just like there are some dark-skinned Filipinos. There are some light-skinned natives. Like there are some dark-skinned natives. There was a native who supported Trump. So I stopped supporting him. Because I'm only part native. But I know where my bread and butter lies. And being racist towards my own ain't it. Even though I've been the victim of racism from my own. Understand, let me make this abundantly clear. No one from Vietnam, no one from Korea, no one from the Philippines, no one from China, no one from Japan that I have met has been racist to me. And it's more than likely because they don't know what the fuck I am. But they have all treated me with respect. Better than my native people, better than my black people, better than my white people. Now, I've only had one incident with a Chinese dude, and that was way back in grade school. Because I thought he was Chinese, but he wasn't. He was from fucking Vietnam. Which goes back to show you what happens when those racist people who don't know that you're not Chinese, or don't know that you're a Filipino, but you're running around with your Trump 2020, and all of a sudden, some racist person who's black or white, and yes, I refer to black or white because there are just as many racist Asians towards blacks and whites as there are as blacks and whites are towards them. There's just as many racist natives. Everybody knows somebody who's 10 degrees of separation from somebody who's a racist. And you won't know that person is a racist until their true colors come out. So here's that thing. Everyone that you know, no matter how long you've known them, this is what you know about them. 5%. That's it. You don't know what happens when they close those doors. You don't know what happens when they go home. You know them from work. You know them from friendships or whatever. You know them because maybe you guys are in movies together. But when they go home, you don't know shit. You don't know how they treat their family. You don't know if they're beating their wives or their children. You don't know none of that shit. You like to think that you do. But you don't. You don't know if they're gay or straight. Not that it fucking matters. But you don't know. I mean, not really. You really don't know. You don't know until they tell you. And even if they tell you, it's up to you to be a real friend and accept them for who they are. Or to be a fair weather friend and be like, oh, fuck you. Now that I know you this, I don't want nothing to do with you. You think that hasn't happened to me? And I'm straight. You think I haven't lost friends because of my views of democratic stuff? Fuck yeah, I've lost friends. But politics should never really take away your friendship. And if it does, then that person was probably never your friend to begin with. I have some friends who supported Trump. We've had a discussion here. You know, we've had a discussion in person. I still love my friends. Their politics and my politics don't match. But the reason why they were following him, because it improved their wallet. All right, that's it. They kind of neglected the fact that he was racist. You know? Now let me tell you, the only racist statement that Joe Biden has ever made was, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black." What, y'all didn't think I was gonna bring that up, right? Y'all just thought, oh, he's gonna just drag Trump through the fucking mud. Yeah, but I'm a fair game type of motherfucker. As I just said about 5 minutes ago, the politicians don't give a flying fuck about us. They do what they can do to get that motherfucking vote, and then they keep fighting each other, and nothing gets done. And who suffers? America economy. And y'all know why we suffer? Because we believe the bullshit that flies out their mouth. I voted for Biden. Now, pump your brakes. I only voted for Biden because my primary choice conceded. She got knocked out. My other two primary choices got knocked out. So let me bring that up. Let me bring that up. So for all you people who are gonna come at me later, let me bring that shit up. Yeah, I voted for Biden because Elizabeth Warren got wiped out. Andrew Yang got wiped out. Keith Bootyboo, because I can't remember how to say his fucking last name. These were my top three choices. I got nothing against Biden, but I didn't want him. I wanted Andrew Yang, Elizabeth Warren, or Pete. Now, I really wanted Elizabeth Warren because it would have been the most awesomest thing for me to have lived long enough to see, one, a female president, two, she has 1% or 4% of Native American blood, and maybe, just maybe, she would do something for the Native American community. Minus that blood quantum bullshit, which is keeping me from getting access to Native American stuff, especially learning about my culture. Alright? Two, my second choice, Andrew Yang. Because it would have been fucking awesome as fuck. Awesome as fuck. To have the first Chinese American president. The first Chinese American first family. And not just because I love Kung Fu and I get along better with Chinese people, or Asian people in general, but because that shit would have been history making, just like Elizabeth Warren would have been history making. My third choice was PDB. I can't get your name right, buddy, I'm sorry. Because that would have even been more historical than anything that I just mentioned with the first two people. Openly gay president. Yeah, he's white, dude. That doesn't fucking matter. Openly gay. Historical. On a mountain of height that we have never seen before. Just let all of that shit sink in. We got a woman who's 4% Native American becoming the fucking president. We got a man who's Chinese American becoming the president. And then we got a gay enigma of a man becoming the president. Y'all can't say that none of that shit would have been history. And here's what I was stuck with. I got a racist red-headed step troll who don't like me because I'm part Native, part black, and part Asian, who tells natives that they don't look like natives and they need to pay for their casinos and taxes, even though everybody squanders the land from Native Americans. Then, before he got in, the first thing he said to natives before he got the vote in, he said, I have nothing to do with the Keystone Pipeline in the Dakotas. I got nothing to do with that. First goddamn day in, last day of Obama going out, Obama has a decree of protection for the Native American pipeline. Do y'all remember that? Of course you don't. Because you don't give a fuck. But first day in, Trump decides, hey, we're going to scratch through Obama's decree of protection and we're going to have that Keystone Pipeline cut right through Dakota land. But yet, he doesn't have a problem with Native Americans. And yet, he continues to call Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas into the end of his fucking term. But y'all don't see that shit as racism, right? Of course you don't. Because you're not part of the indigenous community that's getting your asses kicked and thrusted and put over and having water hoses blast you all over the place from here to Canada. Because you're not part of that community, you don't see that shit as racist. But can white people be racist to white people? Because I don't know. All the white people in my family have only been rejected by white people because of the N-word lover. But that's not from their family members. That's from society. So I guess the answer is yes, white people can be racist to white people if those white people have black people in their family or Asian people in their family. So don't think that white people can't be racist to white people, because they can. That's why the white people in our family don't really know us. They may know we exist, they may not. But I'm not going to hold them responsible for that, because it's not just their job to reach out, it's our job too. I don't have time. I'm trying to get my acting career off the ground, which is the most important thing to me. So, y'all don't seem to think that that's racist. So let me do you one more. Before he was the president, my problems with Trump started in 1993 about the casinos. Then as time went on, it started with the Black Central Park 5. Because there's interviews, you can find them on YouTube. And no, they have not been doctored. But you can find them on YouTube talking about those 5 black kids. We need to reinstate the death penalty in New York. But he didn't say that to nothing else. And then, let me kick y'all in the balls real fast. Kick you in the balls. There was an incident in my town, in Charlottesville, where some jackass wanted to be a martyr, whose first name is just like mine, my government name of James William Jr., which is another reason why it is now and forever will be Echo Fang Grey Wolf, because Mr. Fields threw his life away for the alt-right movement, where he plowed his car through hundreds of people, most of them black, by the way. And the only person, unfortunately, who died was a white lady standing up for black people's rights. Her name is Heather Heyer. You remember it, you say it proud. Because she didn't have to die that day, because some jackass wanted white supremacy to be supreme. So when you get mad at me about voting for Glenn Youngkin, who wants to make sure that critical race theory is not taught in school, make sure that the private schools get all of the funds so that the poor schools that I had to attend gets nothing, and more importantly, the woman who gets raped down the street doesn't have the right to choose what goes in and out of her body, and y'all think that I'm a fucking dick. But this is how this works. You're all going to agree that I'm a dick until it happens to somebody that you know directly. And then you're going to look back on this day, on the 5th day of Indigenous Heritage Month, and you're going to say, you know, that half-breed, he was right. We didn't give a damn about that shit until Luann got raped, or Susie Q got raped, or John got held by gunpoint and watched his wife get raped and get impregnated by these bunch of redneck motherfuckers that didn't like John because John was dating a white chick, but John's Japanese. So they didn't want her to bring a Japanese half-breed into this world. They raped her, and now she's bringing, all white babies in. But y'all ain't looking at it that way, are you? No, you're not. So let's get back on this whole Trump thing. So somewhere along the line, there was a native. It was all about Trump. It was all about Trump. Doing a powwow, all that shit about Trump. I almost wanted to reach through my TV screen and grab him by his fucking neck. Oh, the pipeline, because it wasn't his tribe that had to deal with the fucking pipeline. Alright? It wasn't his tribe. Because his tribe's out east. We're like somewhere where I am. Somewhere either up north out east or in the middle of the country, not in the Lakota places. But he was all about Trump. All about Trump. He even had that talk on native accent. But I don't know what the hell his name was. But I stopped following him because he was supporting someone who hated our people. I'm mixed, but that doesn't make me any less native. But if you are against native and you're trying to take pipelines through the sacred lands, because let's not forget an eon ago, the Trail of Tears, where natives didn't get to keep where we lived and was forced into other places. But of course you guys think that I'm being racist, right? Well, I'm part native. So that makes me racist, so fucking be it. But what do you care? What do you care? Because I'm striking a nerve of truth there. Because everything that I said is true. You can go find that shit on YouTube. You can go and Google Donald Trump versus the Native American casinos. And that video will show up how he's talking to the people in the council in California about how come he has to pay taxes on his casinos, but the natives don't. And then he sits there and tells the guy, they don't look native to me. Yeah. You understand? Because if I'm pissing you off, then I'm doing my job. I'm going to end this video because I like to have these chocolate chip cookies that an Amish family bought me. A very beautiful Amish family. I'm going to promote them right now. They, Barracks Road farmmarket.com. These are some awesome ass cookies. It does not have an address on here, but it does have the ingredients of flour, chocolate chip, brown sugar, oil with water, vinegar, egg, salt, and soda water. I have no idea what that shit is, but I do know these fucking cookies taste great. And I have not shared them, just like I told him on Thanksgiving, on Halloween Day, that I was not going to share those cookies, and I'm going to go and scarf those fuckers down before I go to bed. Probably going to have really nasty dreams. But, here's that thing. You can be racist and not know it. And that's fine, because someone will correct you. I didn't know that a girl was racist in the 3rd grade until she called me the N-word and I punched her in the mouth. But what I really didn't know was my white friends were also racist. Because my half-breed ass punched them in the mouth. I never told John, if you're still alive, and your girlfriend whose name has just slipped my mind, but we were in Miss Lynch's class, if you remember Burley Moran School. And I was that half-breed bastard that y'all no longer liked because the girl named Christine, or Christy, called me the N-word. And before I could control my composure, the martial artist in me, boom, busted her lip. Nothing but blood. I didn't knock her teeth out, but I busted her lip. And our principal was named Mr. Garrett. And Mr. Garrett spent about 25 to 40 minutes trying to get me to say what the girl said to me, because I hadn't been in trouble my entire time at that school until that day I hit her in the mouth. Christy, I'm sorry. I am man enough to say I'm sorry. I knew better, because I was raised not to hit girls. But that was like just raw emotion and opportunity. And they all kind of came at the same time. Because I'm nobody's nigga. And I'm nobody's bitch outside of the army with them dog tags. Because bitch in the army means brave, infantry, tactical, combat, hero. Dick in the army, for those who came through Fort Benning, is dedicated, infantry, combat, killer. So I'm the army's dick, and I'm the army's bitch. But I'm nobody's fucking nigga. And yeah, I used that word this time. I was trying to avoid it, but damn it, that's what she called me. I said what I said, and I'm sorry. I hit her in the mouth, and I'm sorry for that too. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, you kind of was morally obligated. No, I wasn't. Because no man should ever put his hands on a woman, even as a child. Regardless of what came out her mouth, that doesn't make me right. Because 1, I knew martial arts. 2, I have been fighting since I was 6 years old. That's the one time that I regret ever throwing a punch in my life. Because she called me a word. A word. A word that would haunt me for the rest of my life. Until I found out that I was part Native American. And now there's another word that haunts me for the rest of my life. The word chief. I hate being called chief just as much as I hate being called the N-word. But I'm pretty sure since you guys aren't mixed, you don't know what that feels like. Well, here's another word that I hated being called. Half honky. Yeah, George Jefferson kind of made that term just a little bit over the top. You couldn't watch an episode of The Jeffersons without him calling the door guy that word, or Tom. TV teaches us how to be racist towards ourselves. Our ex-president taught us how to be racist towards Chinese people, even the people who were not Chinese, but their eyes were slanted, so they were dangerous. The incline of violence between blacks and Asians went on the rise as soon as the pandemic started. And y'all motherfuckers don't want to wear masks or get the shots. So let me end this with this. First, to all my brothers and sisters to serve, I implore you. I understand why you don't want to do it, but I implore you to do it. Because they're going to take your fucking benefits from you if you don't. Which is fucked up. But let's not forget, when I got processed at Fort Benning, after leaving Fort Lee to go to Fort Benning, I know I got at least 9 shots within the first 3 days of processing. Before they got me my blouse, before they got me my pants and my boots, we were getting shots. And we were in class. Like, all the fucking time we were in class. Kickstands, everyone. Don't fall asleep. Head, shoulders, knees, toes. Jumping jacks. Yeah. I'm doing all the things I had to do at Fort Benning to keep my ass awake during our money class, during our sexual harassment class, during the importance of the combat handbook class, during the importance of knowing that your battle buddy exists for a fucking reason, so that someone will have extra eyes on what they see in case a drill sergeant or an officer steps out of line. I ain't forgot none of that shit. My warrior ethos never leave my pocket until I'm going to bed or washing my ass. But, you know, I started this video saying that somebody came at me on TikTok after I said that I was going to let this shit go. That I wasn't going to be those other Democrats that are going to bitch, cry, and complain about the shit. Because I bitch, cried, and complained about it in that 4 set of videos. And at the last video I said, I'm going to let this shit go. And God be damned, those Repulicrats that want to keep this shit going. Okay? That's on them. I'm going to take my ball and go home until the next goddamn election. I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to complain to myself and do what I want. I'm not going to publicly keep getting on the internet and start talking about this shit. Fuck it. There's nothing I can do. I voted. My vote counted, but it didn't. But I do implore y'all this as I close out. I want you to remember everything I said at the beginning of this video about Roe versus Wade. Because that's the most important decision that's going to be made that's going to affect the United States. And whether you support that shit or not, whether you would prefer to let the woman have the right to choose what goes in and out of her body, or whether you would rather have a woman suffer, that's on you. It's not on me. Because I'm all about the woman's right to choose. And like I said, I do not support abortion as a means of birth control. But if I had a daughter, and my brother, either one of the 3 of them, my dead father, Jesus, the Virgin Mary, my crazy uncle down the street, my other crazy uncle down the street, on both sides of my family, decided they wanted to molest my child, or impregnate her when she's at childbearing age. And I couldn't take my child to go get an abortion because she was the victim of a rape. Why do y'all not see it that way? So now she has to carry an abomination for 9 months. The baby, if she's raped by somebody who's related to her, it's quite possible that the baby might come out mentally ill. But I'm sure you guys that are all about anything that has nothing to do with her body, her choice, or you pro-lifers, don't give a fuck about the victim, right? You're all going to hit me with, but the baby's innocent. You're right. The baby would be innocent if the mother consented to a sexual encounter. Why are you not understanding the difference between a consented sexual encounter versus an all-on sexual assault? If you want to come at me for that, feel free. You want to come at me over that Trump bullshit, get over it. The man lost. I got over it. Biden's fucking up. You know? And like I said, I really wanted to vote for Elizabeth Warren or Andrew Yang or Pete. I voted for Biden because there was no way in hell I was going to vote for another racist who came to my town, not even really came to my town, but spoke on my town talking about there were fine people on both sides. When in the fuck is being racist makes anyone a fine person? Including me, for being racist towards racists. That doesn't make me fine. It makes me a little bit better than the racist that I am racist to, because all the racists that I am racist to are racist people who hate people because of the color of their skin. Not the fact that you're an asshole. Because you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Your skin color's got nothing to do with the fact that you're an asshole. Hell, I'm an asshole. But I'm everybody's kind of asshole. Thank you for watching. I'm Echo Fangry Wolf. And if I hurt your feelings, this might not be the channel for you. But I'm brutally honest. I said what I said. I even said the N-word more times than I would like to today. Thank you for watching. Be seeing you.